Okay, hi everybody. Good Monday morning, Monday afternoon to all of you. I'm so happy to see you, to connect with you, to be in conversation again with the helpers, the healers, and the cultivators of hope, which I hope you realize is really all of you, all of us. I saw some of the questions that people had given to me to give to Katherine when she comes on. I'm really excited to be talking with Katherine Schwarzenegger Pratt, my eldest daughter. Hi, Dina Ruiz. I saw the yoga you're doing online. Bravo for you. Anyway, I haven't seen Katherine. I saw her yesterday, actually, across Ocean Avenue, where she was walking, but we're practicing geographical distance, but we're trying to stay emotionally connected. Oh, Katherine says, I'm here, Mother. So let's see, go live with Katherine. I'm Katherine. And I know so many of us are struggling with how to stay connected to our families, particularly our adult. There's Katherine. There is Katherine Schwarzenegger Pratt, best-selling author. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Mom.
Today on our Home Together series. These are inspiring conversations with the helpers, the healers, the cultivators of hope. And you've certainly always been in your life a helper and a healer and a cultivator of hope to me and so many others. So, hi.
Hi, Mom. I heard you
Yes.
saying just before that we saw each other yesterday on a walk from afar because we're practicing social distancing.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I'd seen you. You and your husband were walking, and but you're really practicing kind of far away. And that's the first time I've actually seen you. And I want to congratulate you now that you're here. Katherine has just written this incredible book. It's called The Gift of Forgiveness. It became a bestseller on the New York Times last week, #3 on the New York Times bestseller list. So I'm so proud of you because I know you've been working on this book for the last 2 years, interviewing so many people. There's 22 different stories in this book. And I know a lot of us have time to read and time to think and time to reflect. I interviewed last week my friend Barb, who runs Peaceful Mind, Peaceful Life Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she had bought your book and it started her on writing a letter to her sister. She's had a challenging relationship there, and your book had gotten her to thinking about that letter. She hasn't sent it yet, and that's okay, but she's been starting to write that letter. And so what are some of the things you've been hearing, Katherine? And I want to ask you some of the questions other people have given to us to share. But what are the stories of forgiveness that you've been hearing?
I mean, I love hearing stories like the one that you just told me. I was actually talking to my cousin Kathleen, your brother Timmy's daughter, yesterday, and she was telling me that her Wida, who we all know who's been a part of our family, read the book and read these 22 people's amazing and inspiring stories, and it made her finally answer a call from her sister that she's not had a relationship with in a very, very long time because of a variety of different factors. But those kinds of stories make me really excited. And also I credit them 100%. Anybody who has stories like that, I credit to the 22 people who are in this book, because they are the ones who have given me a gift by letting me interview them and listen to them, but then also are now giving this gift to everybody who's able to read the book, because their stories are so open and everyone was so just amazing to talk to and gave every single piece of information about their forgiveness journey. And I think it's interesting how people are responding to it, because it's different for every single person. Mm-hmm. Because some people read this book and think, or just even like hear the topic or the title of the book and think immediately of, somebody from 20 or 30 years ago that they haven't even actually thought of as being someone that they need to forgive. And then other people think of people, you know, that they might be in a current situation with. And so I think it just is an amazing and interesting and fascinating topic that I'm really excited people are connecting to. And I think that, interestingly enough, this is a great time since I did a Facebook Live last week with Devon Franklin, and he said that he tries to find God's meaning in everything, and that he thinks God's meaning in this time where we're all spending at home is people giving themselves the time and attention that they need to work on themselves that we never would have given to ourselves had we not been forced to stay at home and be by ourselves. And so I think that that's such a great way to look at this really challenging time for so many of us, and to work on bettering ourselves, bettering our homes, bettering our relationships, but also working on things that aren't always the most fun to do. And forgiveness, I think, kind of falls under that category.
So when we talk about homes, I always talk about our interior homes first and foremost. I know a lot of people have been talking about, you know, organizing, getting rid of things in their homes, their apartments, their physical homes, but this is also a really good time also to think about your interior home. And so for many people, what's in their interior home is resentment, sadness, grief, all of these things. And it usually involves some old hurt, something that comes up. I've noticed a few things that have come up for me on this kind of homestay order. And I think so. That's why I think reading these stories can trigger things in your life that you think you may have dealt with, but haven't. And I loved that every single person participated in this book because they wanted to help someone on their journey because they didn't have a journey that helped them.
Yeah, I think it makes it an amazing project when everybody can be on the same page about why they're all participating. And my goal with this book was obviously to put this book together and write this book to help other people in their forgiveness journey, because I myself found it so helpful to talk to other people and hear their experiences and their struggles in my own forgiveness journey. And so when I would tell these people that are in the book why I was doing the book and how helpful I thought their stories would be to readers, everybody jumped on board to do it that's in this book, because I think that they all know what it's like to struggle with forgiveness and how amazing life can be when you're able to give yourself the gift of being able to practice forgiveness. So it's, I think that's why the stories in this book are so strong together and have been wonderfully getting the attention of people and have been changing people's understanding of forgiveness, is because everyone who's in this book wanted to be in it because they want to help other people.
That's what I loved, that it's, you know, you have people from all different walks of faith, all different genders, all different ages. And as I've always said, you know, forgiveness isn't a one-stop shop. It's not something that only people of faith can do. It's not something that women do better than men. It's something that confronts us all at different ages in our lives. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's more complex. And it's something to kind of think about and absorb, which is what each of these stories are. I found myself in reading each of them, putting it down and going, let me think about how that applies to me. Let me think about, is there somebody in my life that I could do better with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think that's what people have been saying to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And also people, you know, I think some of us walk around in our lives every day knowing that there might be people from our past that we might be still struggling with when it comes to forgiveness. But it's also interesting to me because there are people who have come up to me and said, you know, I was reading your book and I was talking about the subject, and I really realized that I'm actually still really upset at a girl who bullied me when I was 15. And the woman who was talking to me was in her early 50s. And she's like, I hadn't even realized how much of my time in my life that it had been taking up, because wasn't thinking about it every single day. So
Yeah.
it's also, you know, there are some of us who know that there are a couple of situations where we're struggling with, and then there are a lot of people who are able to read these stories and it triggers moments of situations or instances from our past or even from our current situation that we might want to just dive back into and work on a little bit. And I'm also seeing some people write about different book signings I was supposed to go to. I did have to postpone my book tour, so I apologize about that.
Right, but I think that was the right thing to do because you don't want
Forgive me.
people. Yes, you're asking for forgiveness. And that was really hard, I know, for you because you had worked for 2 years on this book. You had this big tour planned, and there were other authors also who were in similar situations. And I really applaud so many of you because I know it was hard to say, like, oh my God, you know, I have to like not do that. And because it's like, you know, you're birthing this book that you've been working on. And I think so many people are having this experience. They're closing businesses that they've worked on their entire lives. They're, you know, having to let go of people they've worked with for years. So there's a lot of, I was talking to a friend the other day who said, you know, that her best friend's father fired her mother, and, you know, that she's so angry. And so there's a lot of new things of forgiveness that are going to have to come up because there's a lot of really hard decisions that people are making who run businesses, who run restaurants. And it's not like anybody wanted to go and fire somebody, but people are, you know, trying, I think, in many ways to do the best they can. But there's a lot of pain that's going around right now.
Yeah, I think that, and also, I know you were saying earlier about
your brother sent a message saying, thanks a lot for inviting me into this conversation. So Patrick, if you're still in the conversation, you're more than welcome to come outside and join in.
I also just want to preface this by saying that while you and I have not seen each other physically for, I think it's like 10 days now, I mean, except for yesterday when we practiced our social walk, we were together the week of my book launch in New York together, which was really nice. And we're 5 minutes apart from each other, but so far away because we're doing the full house quarantine thing at every location. So, but we are FaceTiming several times.
Yeah, that was one of the questions from Susie Clothier. She said her question was how to stay connected during this time. And what was incredible, she said that she's 13 years in recovery. So I wanted to shout her out and congratulate her. I have a lot of friends in the recovery movement who really rely on these meetings, getting together, and who have now started doing it on Zoom.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people doing recovery meetings and addiction meetings on Zoom, and also just trying to really find different ways to stay connected. Because I have a lot of friends who are in their apartments or their homes completely by themselves. So they aren't with their families, they aren't with their friends, or, you know, they're not with a significant other. So I think it's important to be able to check on other people as much as you can. And also to just, I know that we in our family do a lot of FaceTime, and people are all, even before this coronavirus, people ask me how often we talk to each other. And I think like you and I probably average talk maybe 5 times a day minimum. But even with this, because some of us, like Christopher, is still in Michigan, I'm at my home in Santa Monica, and you're in Brentwood. So for all of us 4 kids to stay connected is, you know, to each other, and then also to you and to dads, we do everything via FaceTime for right now. And are going to try and find a way to have you learn about Zoom so we can all do it together.
A girl here, Sunday Songbird, said, what are ways to practice grace and forgiveness? Do you have an answer for Sunday Songbird?
Well, I think one of the biggest themes from the stories in this book, and also just from my learnings in life with understanding and struggling with forgiveness, and also I think just being able to talk to you about meeting people and also knowing that everyone's journey is different, is one thing you'll learn from these stories is definitely to to have more compassion and empathy for what other people are going through. And this book and also a variety of different experiences in life have taught me that. But I think really with this book, because you'll read some people's names you'll recognize, others you won't. But some of the people in this book, like Devon Franklin or Lewis Howes, these are people who on the outside looked like they had it all, were making money, very successful, life looked really glamorous, and then on the inside were really struggling and having a very hard time. And so I think if we could all treat each other and go about our days when we go back to our normal days, and even now when we're, when people are at home and really frustrated with the way people are responding to this virus, the way people are handling it or not handling it. I think, Christina was saying to me the other day, she was like, I think we're all just trying to do the best that we can.
Yeah.
And you always said that to us kids growing up, but I think now more than ever, and especially when it comes to forgiveness, is having compassion and knowing that people are struggling and that life is really hard. Forgiveness is really hard. And so if you can have compassion and empathy when going through your journey and also have that towards other people, that the experience and the journey might be a little bit more gentle. And also when it comes to self-forgiveness, to be gentle with yourself and to have grace there as well, because that's hard too.
Yeah, so several people have asked me again what the name of the book is. It's called The Gift of Forgiveness. That's the name of the book. All sorts of stories of compassion, of empathy, of self-forgiveness, of forgiveness of others, of giving the gift to yourself, regardless if someone asks you for it or not. Some of the other...
and it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon right now for people who want to order it.
It's on Amazon. It's on the New York Times bestseller list. It's everywhere. A woman named I'm Just Murphy said, how do you become a helper? How does an average person pay it forward? And so I'm Just Murphy. I don't think there is such a thing as an average person. I think we're all people. We're all doing the best we can. She said in there, you're already, just by asking the question, tells me you're a helper already. Mm-hmm. So I would like to know what you're doing, because I can learn as much from you. Katherine can learn as much from you as maybe you might be learning from this conversation, I hope, or finding comfort from this conversation. I remember a lot when I was First Lady of California, and a lot of people would come up to me and go, I'm just a mom. And I'd be like, drop the just.
I know you always have said that our whole entire life growing up. And I've now started saying it to some of my girlfriends who are becoming mothers, who say, I'm just a mom. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. Because I remember very, very vividly every single time that someone would say that, whether it was our friends' parents or someone that you just met, or I'm just working at a clothing store, I'm just doing this, I'm getting rid of that. So I think that seems to help a lot of people when you do that.
So there are a couple questions. Where is Chris Pratt? How is Chris Pratt? And I said to you the other day that I thanked your husband for doing such a great job of being with you and caring for you during this time. A lot of people, I was also saying yesterday and I was saying this to Patrick just a little while ago, a lot of people have said to me when I mentioned that your brother, Patrick, had moved in with me, people were saying, how is that living with an adult kid? Isn't that challenging, living with an adult kid? And I have found it to be really joyful.
I think also, I think some of the people who are having a lot of challenges might not also still do frequent family vacations together and, spending a lot of time. Because even, before I went on my book tour, I think I slept at your house for 2 weeks straight while Chris was out of town. So we do spend a lot of time together, sleeping at your house, and also just being together for different meals and also staying connected. So I feel like it's not that.
My friend Mark Brackett, and I'm going to put this piece up in the Sunday paper, he talked about, he wrote a book called Permission to Feel. He's a Yale child study educator and kind of one of the fathers of the social and emotional learning. Said it's a really good time to sit with your family and think about a family charter, like what's important. Like last night, Patrick set the table, He makes a shake every day. I cleaned up. We played Monopoly.
Yeah, we're doing that here too.
Yeah, so you're doing that too.
Yeah,
Chris,
it's also just dividing up. Yeah,
right?
dividing up the different chores and things.
Yeah.
It's like they're like, and you sent this to us kids, the importance of still in this at home quarantine, getting up every single day, making our bed,
Yeah.
taking a shower, getting dressed,
routine. Yeah.
working out.
And then I think that coming back
also,
to the question of, I think it's instant, I'm just Murphy. There's so many organizations right now that need help, that need support. We had a conference call this morning with the Women's Alzheimer's Movement, trying to figure out how we can work with nursing homes and caregivers who are still showing up, taking care of people with Alzheimer's and dementia. I'd like to donate a lot of your books to those who are, reading, caregiving on the front lines. We're trying to work with other organizations to get masks out there. I know you do a lot of work with pets.
Yes, I'm going to be posting something later today because there's a really big crisis, especially in California right now, of animal shelters not having enough space because they're all being shut down right now. So trying to find fosters and people to help, care for the animals. And also, a lot of people consider, I was talking when we were on our walk yesterday, Patrick was like, I was this close this week to getting a dog because everyone's at home and you want the companionship of a dog or, something to give you some routine. And I know Maverick is at your house right now and Christina is, doing.
Yeah, I said to your brother, he goes, I think I'll get a dog. I'm like, absolutely not. We are not getting another dog here. I don't care if you go hug the stuffed animal upstairs if you need to. So I told him, but I've been trying to come up with these, like coffee, make believe ideas, right?
Well, I was using today a whiteboard that I had ordered. I had ordered a whiteboard that had a calendar a couple months ago for Jack, actually, and I was using it today so we could write down like, this is the day we're going to change our sheets. This is the day we're going to do laundry. This is, to have some sort of like structure with this whole thing is really important. And I know you tell us kids that a lot because we have an active family group chat, but also because it's important psychologically to have, so you're not just sitting at home watching TV all day, that you're staying active. And also we live in California and Los Angeles. And so it's really beautiful weather outside. And I know that the mayor, made a thing yesterday about closing hikes and beaches and things. But even if you could just stand outside in the sunlight for a little bit and maybe do a stretching class or a meditation, that's, I've noticed myself, really helps me feel good.
Yeah, John Bon Jovi said the other day, if you can't do what you can, if you can't do what you normally do what you can. And there's so many organizations that need our support, so many people that need our support. I'm trying to buy stuff from my friend's store. She's had to close down, let go of people, trying to buy things from her online. Friend of ours has a flower thing. She's gone out of business, buying gift certificates from her. I think everybody is trying to do the best they can. So, I know, Catherine, you said you wanted to donate some books to some kids shelters.
Yes, I would love to donate books. So if anybody has any suggestions, if you could message them to me or write them below here, I would love to donate books. I gave some books away when I was in New Jersey right before I came home and called off the rest of the tour. But it's such an amazing feeling for me to be able to give books away to people, because I think the more people who can have forgiveness in their lives and also just be open to it, the greater the world will be. So I love the idea of doing that and would love someone to point me in the right direction.
Yeah, so we'll also look and see if there's any like nursing homes with people who are caregiving. What was that? What's happeing?
Wait a
minute.
My kind husband just brought me in some rice crackers with peanut butter. I love you.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris. You can say hello. You can say hello
to MOS.
Hello.
Hi. We're talking about how we're all staying connected and inspired and we were talking about all of the great stories in Catherine's book and how you guys are over there and we're over here, but how many people. So you come from up in Washington State, which has been really hard hit. Anything you know about what's going on up there, what people need up there?
I know that the hospitals are reaching out to try to get more supplies, and their needs are not being met. That's hard. I think people have been, I don't know if they've done the same thing in California where they've like implemented this statewide self-isolation thing, but I know my family members who are up there have been isolating for a couple of weeks, and it's getting.
And also a lot going on with veterans. I know Chris does a lot of work with vets, helping out vets. So there's been a lot going on. My friend Jake Wood, which has Team Rubicon, which it's run by vets who are coming in to help out. They're doing a lot. If you're interested in helping vets and helping vets who volunteer, Team Rubicon is doing incredible work out on the front lines right now. So I know about that.
That's cool. Team Rubicon?
Team Rubicon, run by Jake Wood, who's a friend who's done incredible work assembling veterans who may have finished their tours of duty but still want to be of service. And a lot of them usually go into areas after a tornado or a hurricane, but now they're on the front lines all over the country trying to help out in hospitals and makeshift hospitals and in any way they can. So I think we're seeing people step up and be of service in so many extraordinary ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also when you touched on the
Wounded Warriors, several people here are saying Wounded Warriors. They're also a great organization.
The local business thing is I was talking to a couple of my friends who have small businesses here, and that's a real thing. So if you can buy gift certificates or support them in different ways, that's also an amazing thing. I know supplies are really lacking. The animal thing we mentioned earlier, that's a real big issue here. I know in Los Angeles, especially.
Yeah.
So
people are telling me, don't touch my face. I know that.
Who said that? Christina?
There's several people here said, Maria, don't touch your face. I know not to touch my face.
Can't touch your face, Mom.
Don't touch
Can you not touch your face when you're like at home in your own isolation bubble?
I just have trouble not touching my face, but I'm trying not to touch.
I feel like when I'm around you, I really want to touch your face too. I think it's just a really touchable face. I
want
blame you. I
somebody
think
to
it's
touch
I
my
blame your
face
face.
other than me. Okay, now this is taking a turn. Okay.
But a lot of people are in need, and the easiest thing that you can do, aside from helping local businesses and donating to amazing organizations that need help, Meals on Wheels doing a lot of different, there are a lot of organizations that are doing amazing work, but also just, what?
I'm going to pull up these three other charities that
he's going to find some more charities, but also just calling a friend, because you were telling us kids the other day how important this time is to check on people that you might not, that you might not realize how big of a challenge this whole experience is going to be. And I think that is a really easy and doesn't cost anything. You can just call them to check in, because so little of us, I mean, I know that, you still use the phone a lot. We still call people, but using your time that you have at home now to just give someone a call that you normally wouldn't have given a call and that you would have given a text to is a really great thing to do.
It's true. I've been in contact with so many more people over the past week. I don't know. It's like it forces you just really take a step back and be Also, I've really noticed, this is not kind of off topic, but I've noticed, like, I was looking back on just like maybe not even just a few weeks ago, a few months, like a month ago, the kind of stuff that people would get hung up on and angry about. Like, what a luxury it was a few weeks ago to get upset about. Like, we were making the bed today, and I was thinking about our throw pillows, and I think like a month ago I was like, throw pillows are so stupid. What do you do? What do you need them for? There's like 6 pillows. You just put them there and then you take them off. Like, I was upset about throw pillows. Like, wow, what a luxury that there was once a point in my life where the biggest, most pressing issue in my mind was these stupid throw pillows.
There's something about men and throw pillows. I don't know what it is,
understand that.
but men do not like pillow. They don't like decorative pillows, throw pillows.
Excess,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what
Don't like
that
them.
is.
Don't understand it. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Well,
And now you have an appreciation for it today.
no, I don't have an appreciation for it. I just have bigger things to worry about.
Well, thank you both so much. And I think, I know you're going to talk about more, Catherine, things people can do. Oh, my face.
But before you say goodbye, these are the 3 other things you can draw.
I didn't want to say goodbye. I thought you guys might have something to do. I'm fine here.
We have literally this is our lifestyle. We live here. You can support the gaps in the Direct CDC Foundation.
Say it a little louder, please, Chris.
The CDC Foundation.
Yeah.
You can go to the CDC Foundation .org/coronavirus. That's one way to donate. You can also check out the Center for Disaster Philanthropy, which is disasterphilanthropy.org /CDP. Just go to disasterphilanthropy.org. And the other one is Direct Relief, which
Direct Relief, yeah.
Yeah, you can go to Direct Relief. So those are three charities that I got actually from Chris Evans, because we have this ongoing. Point is, I know Chris Evans.
Wow, I just saw
charities.
Chris Evans last night in Knives Out.
The big takeaway here is that I spend a lot of time just texting Chris Evans. No, but yeah, CDC Foundation, Center for Disaster Philanthropy.
Maybe Chris Evans could touch my face.
He could. I'm sure he could.
My!
I don't know Chris Evans. We're just vamping here. Anyway, those are all really good suggestions.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I know, as I said, I know you've done a lot with vets. And there's a lot of focus, particularly on older vets who have a lot of pre-existing conditions. So a lot of, I think, work. There's a lot of opportunities for all of us to move humanity forward at this time in our world, not just in our country, since this is a global issue, but in our small worlds, in our larger worlds, in our communities. There's great opportunity for all of us to reach out. So I want to
also to be positive, because I think a lot of us. I was talking to.
There's a lot of stuff in here about Chris Evans being now Maria loves really clear. I don't know him. I know Chris Pratt, but I don't know Chris Evans.
Okay. But I was talking to my friend Thea, and she was saying how you can get really negative being in this time where you're forced to stay inside, and putting things into perspective about staying positive, not only for yourself, but also for the people that you're around, and also realizing that there are people who are, very sick, people who are losing loved ones, and who don't have the ability to fill their fridges and their freezers with food. And, and so I think it's a good time to also, when you can get, because it's easy to get very frustrated, especially being at home, because you can't go outside. I can't go drive to your house and see you. I can't, go see my sister or my brother. And so those things are more challenging, but keeping things in perspective, which I think is why you do these Instagram live conversations, is so we can all stay connected and also find ways to stay positive, because when you're alone, sometimes it can get really negative.
Yes, I make these, this Home Together series has been really inspiring, not just for me, I think for other people. Many people say this is the best one they've heard. So thank you for joining us. But I make up things in my own day to have coffee with somebody. And, I've started cocktails on my porch. People are like, well, I'm like, it's made up. It just gives me something to do at the end of the day. And I guess Oprah told people that we were doing cocktails on the porch, but we're just made up. We just made them up, and we invite people to have cocktails with us via FaceTime. So anybody can do, iced tea, coffee with Catherine and Chris. Chris, you said you might start Lunch and Laughs, and might have different people that would make us laugh, and then we could raise money for food banks. And
that's smart. That's good.
I think everybody's doing their best, trying their hardest, and trying to put a little love, laughter, and help out into the world. So that's what you two are doing. So you put love out into the world. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for talking about these organizations that are working to move humanity forward.
I love you, Mom.
Love you both. Thank you for being so wonderful. Thank you all for joining us, and God bless, and have a great day. I guess the
We'll go on
president's getting ready to speak.
a social distancing walk this week.
Okay. God bless you both. Bye-bye.
Bye.